Good morning. So hi, this is your host or moderator for today. That's Shubham Dumbre. So some of you already know me. We have been doing a lot of events lately, and today we are very fortunate that we have eminent personalities with us. So I would want all of you to give a big round of applause to all of them. So to begin with, we have Sujata Biswas, who's the co-founder of Suta. She and her sister Tanya, like Suta is Sujata Su and Tanya's Ta. So Suta, so that's her brand. It's into sarees and all. Then we come to the details from them itself because they'll be the best ones to explain. Then we have with us Sanil. So his startup is more into like D2C brands and like helping people to try different marketplaces. So he'll be taking over the D2C aspect of it. Then we have with us Vinod sir. He is from Naturally Yours, as you can see his t-shirt signifying it. Okay. I would want you guys to like give us a boost with the start.
Hi guys, my name is Vinod. I'm the founder and CEO of Naturally Yours. Naturally Yours is basically healthy noodles and pasta brand. So we have been in this journey for now 3 years now. So it has taken a lot for us to become one of the top brands in India in terms of all the marketplaces anywhere that you see. Apart from the marketplace, we're also now started to being offline. That's a whole different challenge that we are facing now. But I think this year we will see more and more brands going offline. And I think if you have any questions about the offline side as well, happy to answer those. Yeah. So nice to be here. Thank you.
We are a platform for users to discover, try and buy internet products and brands. Right? So we are on Android and App Store both. So our aim is of course to build India's largest discovery shopping app for all things D2C. It's still very early stage. We raised our pre-seed round in December, just about 5-6 months back. Now we are live with about 100 D2C brands. Previously, I co-founded a startup called Cupshop, which was an offline advertising space. Took an exit from it about 1.5 years back to launch today. So, yeah, thanks.
Hi, I'm Sujata. My brand is called Suta, and we are a 7-year-old brand, and we are an artisanal brand. We work with 17,000 people across India. And we are a 200-member team. We have offices in Calcutta, Bombay. Now we have started 5 stores, as I think she also mentioned that. So it's just been the last 3 stores we just opened. It's franchising model. So we are still figuring out our way. We primarily sell online from our website called Suta.in, and we are on marketplaces. And now the offline stores. So we'll see how the offline strategy works. I think that's one of our growth strategies for this year. So we'll figure out more as we go. We have a couple of factories in the villages and one factory in Jharkhand and a production unit. Yeah, that's about it. Very interesting discussion of going through this going forward.
What actually inspired you to get started on your own? Because you are an engineer with 14 years of experience. You come with a wide range of expertise. You were into a corporate job and then switched to this particular thing. So I have studied your LinkedIn profiles thoroughly. Please accept my request. And alright, I don't want to make this a monologue, and that is the reason I'll be keeping it very crisp, short, and energetic. Would request all of you to interact wherever you feel the point is really very good for you to get inspired, get motivated. Give it a clap. Alright. So yes, sir. Over to you.
My daughters, they love noodles, like any kid, right? So, but unfortunately, the ones which were available in the market were full of junk, right? The Maggies and all of those, right? But and as a parent, that made myself and my wife, who is also my co-founder, very worried about it, right? Because when we were young and we were having Maggie and all, we did not know of all this, all the kind of junk that was going into it. It was more of a taste and something that was easy to have. So we said, can we do it? Second challenge was, can it be tasty as well, right? So the first batch which we made for our kids was with millets and all of that we made, and they really hated it. so when kids being kids, they are very. It's not like आपने बना दिया तो they'll be like very brutal and honest with their feedback. So then we understood that it's the taste which is like really bad. So we worked around the composition, we worked around the masala and all of that. And so after like 4-5 iterations, they finally started liking it. So then we started giving it around to friends and family and all of that. So it started working. So we said probably we are onto something, and so let's take it to market. So one of the first things that we did was sold from our website, and then we started doing marketplace, and then now very recently stores. We are about at 800 odd stores, and that would be now in the top 2 brands in the healthy noodle space. Right, not in the overall noodle space, obviously, but in the healthy noodle space, we are the top 2 brands which have come to mind to any customer who are buying in the space. So it took a lot, but the inspiration were my kids, right? So that is where we started, and then we started solving multiple. When we started adding products, we started listening to our customers and started solving for them. Like we have a gluten-free range. That again a requirement came from our customers and all of that. So that's how we have grown our SKUs and all of that.
Super.
That was 2014. We are 27-year-old, and we are having discussion कि यार अपना बिजनेस कुछ करना है. स्टार्टअप तो उस समय कुछ था नहीं इंडिया में, फ्लिपकार्ट ओला वगैरह ही था. एंड दिस द टाइम, राइट, क्योंकि 1-1.5-2 साल में घर वाले शादी कर देंगे, फिर तो कुछ होने वाला नहीं. तो माय फ्रेंड शेयर्ड मी 3 आइडियाज, उसमें से एक पसंद आया हम दोनों को, और अगले दिन बस उतर गए सड़क पे स्टार्टअप करने, और होते हो गया. बहुत सिंपल आइडिया था. इट वाज ऑफलाइन ब्रांडिंग, एक्टिवेशन. तो उसमें फंड रेज की भी जरूरत नहीं पड़ी. फंड रेज कैसे होता है, क्या होता है, पता भी नहीं था उस समय. तो इट वाज अ प्रॉफिटेबल बिजनेस मॉडल. And then eventually we got lucky. 2015 is when startup ecosystem actually happened in India, right? All the consumer apps that you are seeing happened mostly in 2015. Swiggy, Zomato started raised funding in 2015. So we got lucky. We got to work with all these amazing brands. Then D2C brands started happening. We got lucky to work with all of them. And then COVID happened. तो पूरा business हमारा बंद हो गया. जो भी हमने 7 साल में कमाया था, पूरा 7 महीने में चला गया. And then we were left with no choice. We had to do what we are doing, but digitally. So that's how Blingg happened. We wanted to still be to solve for these D2C brands, but through technology. So we started doing sampling, trials, offers, and one thing led to another, and that's been the journey. Then eventually, I decided I'll take an exit from Kapshap. This is what I want to do for at least till whenever I can, right? So that's been the journey. Very, very organic. And here we are.
Super.
We used to go to corporate world to work like regular days, and we wore sarees, and were asked many times, "आप कहाँ जा रहे हैं? Temple जा रहे हैं? कहाँ जाना है आज? लड़के से मिलने जा रहे हैं?" And all of that questions will come. And we always liked sarees. Me and my sister, we've seen our aunts, mothers wearing sarees, so we loved it. And somehow we felt that sarees need to do a comeback. That's how we felt about sarees. And growing up, me and my sister, we are from railway family. My father was in railways, so we traveled a lot in the east. So we saw weavers, we saw how craftsmen work on the loom. My mother would always buy fabric from them, stitch it, and give us for festivals to wear. So I loved looms. They both came together because at work, I didn't see an impact, and me and my sister wanted to create an impact. Both of us worked along with our corporate for 2 years, 2014 to 2016. We would come back on weekends together, start working on it, plan it, figure out who made our own clothes. Before Suta, it was a photography page. Honestly, we were doing product photo shoots and made some clothes, and people didn't call for photo shoots, they called for the products. So we realized maybe product is something we should do, and because we loved handloom and different kind of weaves, we thought they would do a pivot, so it became Suta. So 2016 is when we started. Both of us put in our papers. We went to a small shutter wala garage, and from there we moved to another office. This is our 4th office now. We are a bootstrap company, and we have reached slowly, steadily, selling sarees to more and more people. You see any OTT platform series, you'll see a Suta saree featuring there, and it all happened organically. So we're very lucky there that Bollywood picked up sarees because actresses are wearing sarees. Now the Indian consumer thinks that sarees are cool and can be worn everywhere, and hence I feel the saree revolution started, and it's now doing fantastic. So yeah, that's our journey. Honestly, the what you mentioned, the Ekta Kapoor serial, I feel those sarees were still available. With Blingg, with Zari, and all of that is still available. Something which is simple, plain, and nothing at all on it was not available. And I felt honestly, if nobody did anything about it, it would have just gone like vanished, because nobody. I think people forgot that sarees can still be graceful, classy, can be a corporate wear. And that's when we brought in sarees. I feel there was a big, huge gap in the market, and that's when we came.
Quick question I have. Like when it comes to the pricing thing, as you correctly pointed out, Fab India is very expensive. There are times, very honestly, we just visit the store and come back. And I spoke with the manager of the Fab India. See, if you really want to make it scalable and to be reached out to the masses, average or lower middle Indian class, just like other brands, US Polo and all of us just go and shop. So what was your strategy to do pricing, and how affordable do you make it for a lower to medium middle class, so that you're not only targeting Bollywood, high-end thing, but also lower middle class?
Bollywood was not at all a target at all. They picked it up because they wanted to show women powerful protagonists who can wear sarees and look graceful and not look behenji. I feel that happened with Bollywood. We didn't even, so it's organic, they come buy from us. We don't even pitch it for free. So that's how it happened. To answer your question, I feel Fab India has done a fabulous job. To bring artisanal product out in the market like this and at this scale, it's amazing, it's commendable. I know the pricing is high for sure. When we started, our aim was not to go physical, because we thought physical we won't be able to target because paise to the nahi. Me and my sister started with 6 lakhs rupees, honestly. That's all we put in the company, and the company is now where it is. To be honest, to crack that pricing, what we kept our overheads really low, and that's what was strategy. And we were a D2C brand. We just had a website. Website se pehle, for the first 2 years, we were just on Facebook. We didn't have anything, no Facebook, nothing, no website as well. First 2 years, we just worked hard to make sure the supply chain is right. The product which is made by artisans to reach us and to reach the customer at the end seamlessly, that's what we worked for first 2 years. And after that, we had our website, which was a mistake. I'm not saying it's a good thing. We should have started a website long back. But once we had the website, we figured how. So we figured there's a gap, which is like let's say 5,000, which is average price of let's say Fab India. We would keep it around 2,000 to 2,500. Now of course it's 3,000. But that was the price range we wanted to keep it. We did design intervention, not just the product, but also the designing, keeping it absolutely simple, is what we targeted. And because we brought that in, we worked a lot with the weavers to make sure the product looks very, very simple and classy. That's how we could bring the price down.
So how has been your experience in terms of the human resource that actually help you to scale your brands? Yeah.
Super tough. Super tough question, because as a founder initially the first couple of years you're doing everything, you're running around doing almost everything, right? Like the Facebook ads, I ran those Facebook ads, I made those ads in Canva, all of those stuff, right? Including our label. I learned Corel Draw, made the labels in Corel Draw because we couldn't afford a designer. We are bootstrapped ourselves, so it's super difficult to do all of those things when you're bootstrapped. But we figured it out and did it all that. But there comes a time, I think year 2 onwards, year 2.5 onwards, where you start thinking, right, I can't do everything everywhere. Like currently we have almost about 1,000 stores. How do I service all those 1,000 stores? We have 6 distributors. How do I speak to all those 6 distributors? It's impossible to do that. And so we started reaching out to the right people on LinkedIn, and started finding around, through personal contacts. And then we started building the team ground up. And then, slowly the team gets built, the sales team, the finance team, all of those things, right? It's still a very small team, but I think the team does a fantastic job of me not being required in office at all, right? Today is a full day office. Even if I don't go, things still work, right? It doesn't break, and I have to be there. They have to call me 20 times a day. That's stopped, and that's because we were very clear that these are the things that we identify the right team members, and we give them full responsibility from end to end, right? We don't say that ये approval लेना तो ये हर चीज के लिए approval लेना. So we give them ballpark figures, we give them processes. Follow these processes. Follow this. This is the end goal for the company. Let's all work together. So that's how.
You don't have a product market fit, so you need people who can help you achieve that. And once you have PMF, then team becomes the most important. So I struggled a lot. Same challenges that all startup go through. I bootstrapped for 1.5 years before raising funds, right? So no money, you have to do everything. And I remember I am non-techie, right? And we are a tech product, so we need head of engineering. So I would have interviewed almost 500 engineers in 1.5 years, right? And out of which 10 people also accepted the offer letter, but no one joined, right? Because that 1.5 years, engineering, the salary was anything, right? And we were saying ki pay cut leke aa bhai or equity lenge, right? So eventually it happened, right? So if you keep at it for the longer duration, it happened, and eventually we were able to hire a person whom we are now promoting as co-founder, right? So he's going to become our CTO. But it took us 1.5 years to be able to crack that one person, but that was the most important person since we are a tech product. And now that journey continues, right? Now that tech is solved, the same challenges, operations, with product, with marketing. So it's going to be a ever-going journey, right? As you scale, you need more people, like you mentioned, right? Who take certain amount of headache away from you, and they also work or operate as co-founders, right? Without being co-founders. So keep on taking interviews every week. So that's an ever-going process, I guess, right? The more scale you achieve, the more number of people you have to hire who can, then scale it further. So that is going to be the most important task for us to be able to hire such people who are smarter than you at doing their job. Right?
Fantastic.
lot of passion and instinct while we hire. I'm sure all of them do, I'm not saying not. But I think out of people who are there, out of 200 people, 80% are all our customers. So what we do is all the requirements we put it on the website, and from there customers come in. And what happens when they already love the product so much, their fit is much better. So our retention is like super good. Our attrition rate is very, very low. And the best thing is the way we hire is also very local, like around the place. So people usually stick around. Like one of our office boys who joined us back in 2016, he now heads the website upload department. He has like a cabin, he has like 6 people reporting to him. A person who's a cabin crew, a big customer of Suta. A lot of people who are from the industry would know her because she's almost like a function like a co-founder. She was a cabin crew, Suta customer, joined us at 20,000 rupees salary with a massive pay cut because she loved the brand so much. And that kind of love, I think that kind of stickiness, you can't get in otherwise. I can't ask anybody to join me by taking a pay cut. Even like now, when we hire, we have so many customers who've taken almost 50-60% pay cut from brilliant big companies and have joined us because they see the growth, the growth story of Suta. I think that's one way we have created that ecosystem in the brand. We have a lot of beautiful celebrations in the company. So we also, it's an inclusive brand that Suta is. It's an LGBTQIA community support brand, and we have even our store is painted bright color. We celebrate events in the office. We have pet friendly office, so people get their own pets. It's like a house, so it's literally like that. So I feel couple of ways you can make sure that the workplace is very home-like, not being home, professional as well as home-like. So by doing this, by also communicating, we can build a team which has very low attrition. I think those are a couple of things we do at Suta. I just wanted to add, obviously these points also apply. Keep interviewing throughout your life. Every day I have interviews lined up. Saturday, Sunday, tomorrow I have interviews lined up for hiring. I think as you grow, you will keep having requirements, and it's just like a never-ending process.
Give us the pointers, like how could you fix all those problems at that point in time? Yeah.
So we are building a tech company, right? So technology becomes the the driver of whatever we achieve. So our product didn't work for almost 5-6 months, and then we kept on iterating, and then I learned a lot just being in those sessions with my developers. रिलीज करते थे रात में 12 बजे बैठ के, सुबह 6 बजे रिलीज होता था. तो वो पूरी जर्नी रही है अब 2 साल की. तो नाउ आई एम नॉट ए कोडर, बट आई नो इन एंड आउट अबाउट एवरीथिंग, राइट? And now we are trying to build a technology which is not being done for D2C, which is building a matchmaking engine, but for D2C brands and consumers, matching their lifestyle to D2C purchases, right? So in India that hasn't happened. In US there are a lot of examples of that. So again, like I mentioned, we are in, let's say phase 1 has happened, the product is successful. Phase 2 is happening where we are trying to achieve PMF. Once we achieve PMF, then phase 3, which is applying, artificial intelligence and machine learning and scaling this to probably millions of consumers. So learning technology every day, right? Using ChatGPT for almost couple of hours a day now, and these things will continue to happen, right? You will always have to keep on learning new, right? You will always have to keep yourself updated with what's happening. And now that applies for non-tech companies as well, right? So probably these guys will also tell you their stories of understanding Shopify and now what kind of plugins these guys are using to improve theirs, right? So I'll probably, you can probably speak more about how.
Yeah, even for non-tech companies, like specifically if you're a D2C brand, right? You have like a million data points, right? From who is buying, what it is, unless until you actually look into those data points, then you will be solving for the wrong customer and you will be solving the wrong product, right? Getting to PMF is like, if you're starting today, getting to PMF is like the first thing that you need to do. Now, PMF for everybody is going to be different, right? For somebody it will be at 2 crore stage, for somebody it will be 200 crore stage. It depends upon the product, it depends upon the category that you're in, and also it depends upon whether you're bootstrap, not bootstrap, and your personal ambitions, right? So, what we did personally at Naturally also is that we used to take almost every data point, specifically from our ads, from our Shopify, from Amazon, and from all the marketplaces, right? And then we used to do the tables, we used to do all of those analysis. So first to understand who are these customers buying from us, right? Then we found a very specific customer range that's about 30 to 40 female is the best customer for us, right? And that's when we said that, okay, let's start spending our marketing dollars or marketing rupees on this customer base. And that's when we started getting what ROAS of 5 and 6, which is like crazy ROAS that we used to get, right? Now, that wouldn't have been possible if we were not analyzing the data. So analyzing the data is super critical, and we do that even today. Even with our stores right now, in the offline space, with our stores also we do an analysis. What is the monthly bill cuts, number of bill cuts, what is the average order value for these stores, are they increasing, are they decreasing, what's happening, right? What is the frequency that they are ordering with, what is the frequency that the distributors are ordering with, what are the products that are moving more, what are products that, in fact the product itself we analyze on a day-to-day basis. How many products move, how many products don't move, what is the average cycle, all of those, right? The inventory cycle. Again, that's something from an FMCG you need to know. Like we kind of are super good at managing the inventory. So we rotate inventory 4 times in a single month, right? Most FMCG brands do probably once, right? We do 4 times a month. And that is possible because of the data that we have. And you can use simple tools like Excel, you can use all of those things. But analyzing that data is super important from any D2C brand, whether food or right? So I think that's something that you guys should focus on.
Everything changes so fast, I feel, but at the end of the day, it's all logic, right? So what you need to understand is, what are they saying? Would it fit in somehow? Would it make sense? Just figure out, just layman term, is it making sense, and then just talk to them. But having said that, you have to have a great partner who you are trusting upon, because I don't think so without a partner you can, unless you are of course updated, you won't be able to understand, to make out anything what they're saying. So getting those emails to getting it translated and getting an app integrated on the website, it's a huge journey. And also when I'm talking, I'm in the middle of changing the agency who I'm working with, tech agency. So you can understand the kind of ups and downs every brand like us will have. And I'm not even a big brand. I can imagine like a big brand going through this dependence on tech is so high. Me being a Shopify brand, if I'm going through so much of tech intervention comes in, the tech stack has to be absolutely perfect. Small example is the returns app. Like the RTOs and returns for any brand is like the craziest bit, and you have to sort it, because at the end of the day reconciliation goes for a toss if it's not perfect. And it's just one bit of D2C brand's journey that you have to deal with returns. And for that, there is nothing, no app which is seamless. And everywhere there is still manual intervention. Kitna bhi coding kar lo, kuch bhi kar lo, I am still every month and I'm sitting and looking at the data and I'm breaking my head thinking what has happened, what went wrong, that the numbers are still not matching. So there are so many ways to solve for it, but then I feel at the end of the day, logic plays a big role. And if you can build your own technology, nothing like it. I honestly feel that at this point sitting here, I feel if your core can be based on technology, it's nothing like it. Tech is something that will pull you ahead. Someday maybe I am able to do it, but for now I'm just dependent on somebody else using my brain to solve for the problem.
So he said that you rotate your product 4 times a month.
Yeah.
I believe your product would have a shelf life of what, 6 months,
12 months.
9 months,
12 months.
12 months.
We have a very simple formula in our company, right? Cash is greater than profit is greater than revenue, right? So if you have to be cash efficient, you have to pay your vendors on time and all of that, right? So if we have to be cash efficient, then we have to be inventory efficient. We do not dump stock, right? We do not say कि भाई आप 10 case ले लो आपको 2% extra मिलेगा and all those nonsense we don't do. So if you look at the other way, right, which most companies which are funded, for them revenue is greater than profit is greater than cash, so they will kind of dump. They'll say कि भाई आप 1+1 देते हैं, right? So all of those things. So when you do all of those stuff, then you start seeing that inventory आपका बहुत बढ़ेगा and बहुत सारे distributors multiplied by 6, right, or multiplied by 50 distributors, and that is how much products are going to come back. And with food, it's all expired, right? So you can't rotate it back again. You have to just throw it.
In a case of food beverages, what are the shelf life and what are the time you take back all the stocks?
So typically we have 12 months shelf life for our products. We tell them that 2 months before expiry.
In Suta, Bombay, if you search on Instagram, you'll think I'm a sari brand and nothing else. But now we are again planning to get into menswear and stitch garment of women, and there's a big dilemma we are in now at that we should have a sub brand, or do we again create a chaos in the group by introducing the products just like that, and we saw that when we put this on the store, men don't mind buying, they just go walk to the menswear, buy and go. But the moment I put it on the website, people just say, oh, is this like a unisex or is it like a product which I can buy? Just it's really menswear, and hence there's a lot of confusion, right? So it's not just about the category, the way you divide, it's also about the way consumers perceiving you as a brand, and then how you want to categorize it, the message that is going out and everything. And apart from that, if I'm just like not talking about the other different categories like kids wear and all, which we want to start and go. Even within sarees, there is one which is very, very premium. And we just figured that if I do a shoot on a mannequin rather than do it on a model, that sells better. So, I think figuring out things about how consumer would like your product to look like, it helps, how you want to display it. And I think every brand will have a different story of categories. And as long as the communication is clear, I feel you're in a good space.
The consumption of food and beverage. Almost everyone, including the people sitting here, has become slightly more health conscious, at least slightly more health conscious, right? तो अगर आपको चिप्स भी खाना है तो अब आप वो चिप्स देखोगे जिसमें या तो पाम ऑयल ना हो या थोड़ा कम ऑयल हो या बैग्ड हो या पॉप्ड हो, right? You are happy to pay 10 rupee premium to that. And then we started realizing more and more as we started working with more and more brands. And now we are in a situation where we know for a fact that this revolution has happened, right? In food and beverage, one, there is no large marketplace, much like what Nykaa has done with beauty and personal care, we could do with F&B. And the internet consumer is only happening, right? The number of internet consumers is growing large, the number of D2C brands are happening, and D2C brands are offering something which is better packaged and probably better and healthier or less unhealthier as well. So all these multiple factors are happening at once. So largest focus has now become F&B. 70-75% of our portfolio on our app is F&B, will probably continue to be F&B. At least more than 50% will be F&B. The frequency of consumption for food and beverage is much higher compared to any other category as well. Right? So, and all kind of things are happening, right? Like I was speaking earlier, that peanut butter. How many of you used to consume peanut butter 4-5 years back, right? It was a very, very niche category. It was not a category, not a subcategory, probably subcategory, right? And now it's 1,000 crore Indian business. And that's happening across everything, right? All kind of chips are happening, all kind of snacking is happening. We are sitting with the next live example here, happy noodles is a new subcategory emerged, right? And all these are becoming super large. So that's the category focus. Then comes to pricing. They want to try our products, and if they like, then they will probably start purchasing those products more frequently. So if you are that person who want to try out D2C brand for the first time, 100 रुपए खर्च करने में चल जाएगा आपका. 100 रुपए आपने खर्च करा.
So how were your experiences with the first 5 or 10 customers whom you sold your product, and yeah, they really gave you feedback that motivated you to go ahead on your path? I hope these questions are fine, guys. Yeah, because these are not ChatGPT generated, these are Shubham GPT generated. Yeah, now I feel you're energetic. So I would love you all to please answer, like, how were your initial experiences, and what was that key driver in those feedbacks or in those moments which motivated you to go ahead and accelerate your journey? Yeah.
Stating where the money is. So the first, I'm just talking about non-friend family because that's what will make the difference, right? Initially, our friends and family for buying. So the couple of orders. So initially, what used to happen is because we didn't have a partner with courier companies, and initial orders were on Mumbai based, even if they were non-friends and families. So me and my sister would actually go and deliver them. And we had actually visited the houses and delivered ourselves, and we've had like a lot of first-hand experience and talks about it. But we got calls, because our numbers are mentioned, our direct numbers are mentioned on the things which we started on. So we would just get calls directly about the products, and our pricing which we started for the sarees were, I remember it was 1250. It was a cotton saree malmal. It's still our bestseller. It's now around 2,000 rupees, cost increase. But that was 1250, and people would just call us and say, "Ye real cotton hai. 1250, 5.5 meters, and it doesn't feel like it. That's like, how did you make it?" And they couldn't believe that it's actually made by weavers. We got it and delivered it to the doorstep at 1250, and this courier charges. They just wouldn't believe that this was possible, and that gave us such a big boost that there is such a big demand. People can't believe that we can give it at that price, and even after the GST came in, the price became 1313, and that's the only increase. And we kept doing 1313 price till about like last 2 years. It was still 1313, and even now when we meet customers, we have customers who are like known us since 7 years. They call us and still talk about those sarees. They still have those sarees and say it's unbelievable. And I think that's a story. That's how the story became, and that's how customers are still such a big part of our journey. They remember the price, they remember the product quality, they talk about it. They are actual brand ambassadors. Honestly, ये Bollywood बोल दो, जिसने भी पहन लिया कुछ भी हो जाए. If one person, when your neighbor comes and tells you this saree I bought it for like 1250 and it's amazing, nothing like it. That's the biggest testament. Your product will just fly off your shelf just like that. And whenever we launched initial days, within 1 day or 2 days max, we would be sold out. And that was the biggest thing that happened. And obviously the batches are very, very small, but that gave us the confidence and the power to actually move on, to quit our jobs eventually. I would initially put headless photos, and then initially slowly got the guts and showed my face later on. And when I went to deliver, the person who placed the order was almost like 20th order or something, and the customer was from US. She was from US, saw it on Facebook. And the father opened the gate and she's like, "Oh, my daughter told me this product is going to reach, but the model is going to come and deliver." I didn't know that. It was a lot of fun. They invited us home. We had like chai, and they packed us food for home, and everything happened. So yeah, we have like great stories to tell because we actually went and delivered. So we have first-hand experience about the product, look and feel. They would tell me, call me, explain if there's a problem.
And we started reaching out to people through mailer. और रिस्पॉन्स नहीं आया बिकॉज वी वर रीचिंग आउट टू कॉर्पोरेट एम्प्लॉयज एंड वी थॉट यार 29 में भी नहीं ले रहे इंडियन, मतलब क्या हो रहा है या तो पैसा नहीं है, हम बहुत ही बकवास है. तो देन वी रीच्ड आउट टू पीपल, कॉल्ड देम एंड दे थॉट यार कि ये तो स्कैम है. उनको तो लगा है स्कैम है, 29 रुपये में आप बॉक्स दे रहे हो जिस पे लिखा हुआ है 300 रुपये का. तो वी डिडंट क्लिक, ऐसे स्पैम के मेल आते रहते हैं. तो दैट वाज द फर्स्ट लर्निंग. एंड देन उससे फिर धीरे धीरे करके टेकिंग इनपुट फ्रॉम कंज्यूमर्स, देन वी रियलाइज कि इंडिया में योर कंज्यूमर्स आर वैल्यू कॉन्शियस, like both of them mentioned, right? Not price conscious, especially the D2C consumer. You have to show them the value, right? They are happy to pay amount if they find value in it, and it is your job to kind of show them that value. So उसके बाद फिर वही जर्नी रहेगा कि we are figuring out how to offer more value to consumers so that we get access to more of their wallet share. So yeah, that's an ever going learning. Charlie.
that's a good tool to understand your customer mindset, right? What better than that? None of your analytics, none of your data points will give as much data as speaking to customers, right? So we do that with everything, right? With our retailers, with our distributors, and with our end consumers as well. So initially during the journey, we did that a lot more, right? So a lot of times, a very angry email will come, what the hell is this? Aisa kaisa aa gaya? And we could not understand what the problem was, right? And one of the biggest problems that we had was shipping our noodles, right? Our noodles used to go broken, right? And it used to be like in pieces. And to solve for that took us a lot of time in terms of the product composition, in terms of the packaging, in terms of every single thing, right? We worked on every single thing. Then we had problems with our masala. Some used to say it was very spicy. Some used to say it was spicy nahi hai usme, right? And it's like these are like very two contradictory and very two extreme reactions, right? One customer is saying बहुत ज़्यादा spicy, one customer is saying spicy नहीं डाला. So then we figured out, right? So we have something called as a spiceometer, which is there on our pack, which says that आप आधा पैकेट डालोगे तो कम स्पाइसी होगा, right? अब full पैकेट डालोगे तो बहुत स्पाइसी होगा. तो आपके हिसाब से डालो. And immediately that problem got solved. And that idea for that solution also came from the customer because we spoke to that customer, right? So for us it has been a very good interaction from our customer point of view.
4 years for me also. So the journey for all founders who are sitting here, we have to manage a lot of things. We have to wear a lot of hats, play a lot of challenges, come across a lot of challenges, and also you already have a son also, I suppose, right? And you also like pets. That's what I could make out from your LinkedIn bio. You have 22 and yeah, you also have a family. You two are like also very senior. So how are you balancing your personal life with your professional life? I hope this question makes sense, guys. This is also very important for us to strike a balance between our lives. So over to you guys.
I'll answer. So I have a 2.5-year-old daughter, right? तो काफ़ी एडजस्टमेंट करनी पड़ते हैं. I think everyone is doing, right? So my schedule is all according to my daughter's schedule, right? कितने बजे काम करना है, that all my daughter decides according to her schedule. So she has school at 8 between 8 to 11. तो 8 बजे मैं उसको स्कूल ड्रॉप करके ऑफिस जाता हूँ. फिर 11:15 बजे उसको लेने जाता हूँ. तो मैं ऑफिस में काम करता हूँ वही 2.5-3 घंटा पावर वर्क. That is the most effective 8:15 to about 10:45. Then I work from home because my wife has now started working from office. तो work from home खत्म हो गया. Then we have उसमें बीच में according to her sleep schedule वो power work हो जाता है. बाकी टाइम तो you have to manage 2 hours here, 2 hours there. 10 बजे वो सोती है तो 10 से 12 बजे फिर power work हो जाता है. So eventually you have to figure out कि 10-11 घंटे काम तो करना ही है, कैसे करना है. You have to figure out schedule will change on weekends, schedule will change on according to when उसका छुट्टी है. All of that are challenges when you have a young kid at home.
I'm not sure how many of you have kids or pets in the house. I think it just adds another level of complexity. Honestly, he does amazing work. I'm just like impressed to hear that. I have created a good support system in the house. Honestly, I live with my parents and I live with my co-founder Tanya, my sister. So we live across in the house with our husbands and our parents. And a lot of society people assume that we are living with the boys are the brothers and not the sisters, and a lot of questions like that come. But I think it's all about designing a system which is convenient to you, having great helps around you, communicating it to your partner, your parents or your in-laws that I cannot do this, I will do this, I will not do this. Very clearly will keep you sane, because at the end of the day, it's all expectations, right? And if you just clarify it once and for all, it just makes life very, very simple. And not that guilt. Obviously, mother's guilt is one thing which is real. I have it a little low though, but I feel I'm lucky, blessed there. But the guilt of not doing it will kill you unless you just tell somebody that no, I can't do it at all. So it's not my responsibility. Don't think that I'll do it. And then those things will make it very, very easy. At the same time, doing the same thing at work as well. Just going and telling your colleagues that no, today it is my kid's day and I will not come to office. You have to manage it by hook or crook. I just will not be present. Just making sure that this is done will keep you sane. But having said that, there will be a lot of challenges when there is families involved, right? I mean, there will be not just the kid, but your parents might need your help, your support. They're getting older as you are growing, right? In your your business journey is going like that, but your parents are also growing older and you have to take care of them, give time to them. Making sure you have a trusted driver, or making sure you have somebody who, when you're not there, somebody else will take care, and thinking about it will just make life easier. That's my take on it.
So, which is good and which is bad if you the way you want to look at it. So we have good days, we have a bad days, just like any other couple, and sometimes it just does spill over. But so over a period of time, right? So myself and Priya, we have kind of figured out, right? So that work needs to be at work space, and family life needs to be in family space, right? So from 9 to 6, I'm the CEO, and after 6, I don't get to be the CEO, right? At home. She's the CEO at home.
She's the PM actually.
Yeah. So it's very clear that way, right? So she's very clear, and now we have very clearly communicated that. So after 6, if I tell any work, she's like, yes, I'm at home. I won't do anything, right? If you really want to do it, then you can do it. But then I have also figured out, right? So I was like, okay, I will also take this. So taking that downtime is super important. Of course, when you are in your initial days, there is nothing called as downtime. But after 2-3 years, like I said, now that we have a good team in place, we have also good support system that we have at home. We are able to do that. But the initial phase was pretty crazy, right? So we will get an idea. I'll get an idea at 11, and then I will want it to be implemented by 12, and I will want to launch that emailers at 1. Right? So in between of the night, both of us will start working and then start doing that. So that did take a toll, but then we realized that yes, this is taking a lot of toll on both of us, and the relationship at home and all of those things. Let's not bring business home. So we also have a particular time of the day that we have for the night. Half an hour, we all of us, both my kids, a dog, and myself and Priya. So all of us go for a walk, right? So we take a walk for about half an hour, 45 minutes. The self-doubting happens almost every day, right? Even all these questions that, if I was working, I would have got this much, and then other day somebody came for consulting, they said, for 1 hour I'll pay you like, 40,000, 50,000. I was like, should I become a consultant, right? Maybe like 6 hours of work, great, right? I don't need to do much. Unless and until you have a backup, right, of a certain, especially if you're dependent, if you do not have that backup in terms of revenue coming from one of the other stream, either from a side hustle or something like that, or a job or something like that, I think it would be very foolhardy of you to keep doing that for a very long time. You should have a stop loss, right? You should definitely have a stop loss, and that stop loss doesn't mean that you leave that dream, right? You can build a certain nest and then come back to it again. It isn't going to go anywhere. That's first. And second is, when you are any which was launching a product, right, you will start understanding yourself whether there is a need for this product or not. It will be very clear in a year's time. At least in a year's time, it will be super clear whether customers are coming back again, asking, are they very enthusiastic about it, and all of these things. Like for example, when we started looking in this category, almost we also wanted to fundraise and all of that, and VCs told us that कि भाई revenue बढ़ाओ आप इसको कम में बेचो and all of those things. And our answer was कि सर पैसा पहले दे दो हम लोग फिर आधे में बेच देंगे उसको पूरे लॉस में चलाएंगे आपके लिए. So but they didn't do that, right? So then for us the only option was to bootstrap, and bootstrapping it's like playing the entrepreneurship game at the most difficult level, right? And so this doubt came to us every now and then, whether there is a PM, whether customer. So we went back to customers and started asking why they buying. So we saw repeat buy happen. We saw retailers approaching us because we were running Facebook ads. Then retailers will approach us and make मेरा shop में रखने का. And that was something new for us. And like, why would somebody want to do that? And why would a retailer want to pay in advance to buy something from us, right? So they're basically investing in the brand. And many people started doing that. That's when our confidence started coming, saying that, okay, great, we are onto something good, let's keep at it, I think we will reach somewhere, right? So that confidence comes. But if that didn't happen, right, maybe we would have not continued, for sure. With dependence, of course, not. But that question always in your entire journey, it will keep coming, for sure. It is how you fight with those demons and what are your alternate sources if you're not having any revenue, if you're not able to take any money out of the business, where is that money coming from? That's a very tough question that you will have to answer.
Food sector is particularly the most challenging and toughest sector.
Super
because
challenging.
there's shelf life and stuff.
Yeah. Super challenging, and there are a lot of cash problems, there are a lot of product fit problems, there are a lot of return problems, there are manpower problems. All of these problems are there, right? That for me, that is what also makes it exciting, right? Even if we have 50 brands, we are very confident that we will win the game because we have figured out all of these tough problems.
Like especially in the initial phase of the business.
Like when you start.
For us, the marketing journey started out from very, very Facebook and Instagram ads perspective, right? Because we didn't have much money. And the budget was what, 500 rupees we used to spend. Nothing much, right?
Like 500 rupees on like what day?
Our entire campaign was 500 bucks
Yeah,
for a day.
I did 100 as well. Oh my
Yeah.
God, it's so funny.
So yeah, 500 across like four campaigns and then 50 rupees ads. So see, you have to do whatever you have, right? In the hand that you are dealt with, you have to do. But we started figuring out, we started scaling, we started doing all of that, and trying to figure out which is your customer base who are buying, and then who are giving more response for those ads. We started with that, right? This is a very online specific that I'm saying, right? But if you look at the same thing, if for Amazon it's completely different. But for all of this, the journey for us to start at the start was to learn what it is, right? Because it's for me, it's like more of gamification, right? So anything that's new for me, I gamify it. Like for example, if it is Amazon ads, I gamify it and understand कि भाई इसके rules क्या है. To succeed on Amazon, what are the rules that you need to play with, right? The rule is you need to have a great product, obviously. You need to be available on FBA. You need to have a great ad strategy around that, right? So all these three things, if it works together, then Amazon will win. Same with if you're looking at a Facebook ad or an Instagram ad, it's completely different, and it keeps changing. Like Instagram ads now, a lot of videos do well. Previously, a lot of images used to do well, right? So understanding that is very critical for your ads to work effectively. So this is in the online space, but in offline space, it is completely different because we do not have an ad for a television ad. Yeah, we do not have for a huge banner. This thing, इसके लिए सब कुछ पैसा नहीं है. There we have to really fight for our shelf space, right? That's where your salesman and your relationship with that retailer works. So like I was saying, what we do is entry into every retail shop used to happen कि पहला आप try करो, sample खाओ, उसके बाद, because we understood that every retailer is the marketing channel for us. वो बोलेगा ये नया मॉडल आया मैडम, ये ट्राई करके दो, ये बहुत अच्छा है, मैंने ट्राई किया, and he will be able to tell that with confidence only if he has tried, right? So we started with that, and even now employees, अभी तो मतलब store multiple stores we are there, right? So we give even the employees, दो shelf के सामने जो लड़का खड़ा रहता है, उसको भी हम लोग sample देते हैं कि भाई ट्राई करके दो. So because that is the guy holding the this thing, right? Holding the cart in many of the stores. And then saying कि मैडम ये वाला नया है, ये ट्राई करके देखिए, ये इसके बदले में ये अच्छा है, ये ट्राई करके देखिए एक बार. So to convert that will take time, but once you converted, then we are placed right next to most of our retail stores, the 800-900 stores that we are present right next to Maggie, right next to Maggie, one entire store. And that has happened slowly we came up, right? पहले सबसे नीचे लगा देता था, फिर उसके बाद थोड़ा ऊपर. So that happens over a period of time, but for stores specifically, it is your store owner of the store and the guy who is managing that way. Those are the guys who are the ones who will promote it.
And I think initial first 1,000 users, so you just need to hack your way out somehow without spending, I think, a single penny if possible, right? जो existing partnerships है, free में partnerships करो, consumer कहाँ है, corporate में जाके partnerships कर लो, DevX में बैठा है, DevX के community manager में जाके यहाँ stand के लगा दो अपने product का. You have to do all those things to acquire your first 1,000 users before even thinking about starting to do ads. So that's the early stage marketing. And then first 1,000 users, then you need to solve for retention, right? Because it cannot be an acquisition game. Then you have to solve retention. Once your early stage acquisition and some amount of retention is solved, at least some amount, because retention will keep on improving eventually. Then you figure out communication on ads, email, newsletter, all of that. So we are at that juncture because we are doing trials that work, then launch our marketplace. We are still in the process of figuring out our communication, so we are just hacking our way to crack our early retail where we don't do ads, right? So next 2-3 months are going to be just about ads. Then probably we'll start doing ads once we know कि यार इस टाइप के यूजर को इस चैनल से एक्वायर करके इतना रिटेंशन परसेंटेज हम ला सकते हैं. So ads should probably come much later. So your marketing is all about applying your creativity and yourself to solve how do you get more consumers.
We didn't have money, so of course I started modeling, and that became the thing. The founders wearing the sari and wearing and promoting it everywhere. I would just go to the malls and the discs and everywhere. I would just wear sari and put a lot of videos and talk about it, and that became the thing. And now people know Suta with my face, so people would remember where if I go somewhere, people just know okay, this is the Suta sari she's wearing, or she's a founder of Suta, and they would just know it. And initially that worked a lot for us. Consumer अगर phone करके डांटना भी शुरू कर देगा, and I would say, oh, I'm Sujata speaking, and they would just calm down a little bit and say, oh yeah, this is what the problem was, the sari color was leaking like that, and then I was like, no, I'll take it back and give you something, I didn't test it properly and I'll figure it out. So that worked for us. But having said that, marketing is all about communication, right? So the most clear and most crisp, most layman term में अगर तुम्हारा message समझ में आ गया, okay, that's it, and you have cracked it. Even now, the best the reels or best message or most click happens on the reel or the photo where the message is very clear. If it's confusing, I'm showing. So recently I launched it was a flop ad I'm talking about. So we launched a reel where I ran out ads on that reel which had which is talking about the blouse fit, but in the video the blouse was not visible much. Visible but not looking as great, not the perfect fit. But I'm talking about the best fit blouse. Consumers who know about Suta might like the ad because they know about the fit of the blouse. We do very good fit blouse. But video mein nahi dikha. So the ad was, even if the ad looked aesthetically brilliant, the shoot was brilliant, everything was perfect, sari looked good, the pairing was good. But just because the blouse was not visible, I'm talking about blouse, just didn't make sense. So, I think the messaging needs to be right when you're doing it, and there are so many ways of marketing now. Just figure out low-hanging fruits for startups especially, because there could be places where you could just put an ad, like for example, LinkedIn video would really do well. So if you just put a video on LinkedIn and talk professionally about the product only you're writing, but a video with it would just do well, and you don't have to spend a lot of money even there, right? Being present on Pinterest got us Karan Johar to that garage I'm talking about, because they were just browsing, right? They would just browse and probably वो ज़्यादा pin हो गया उस दिन and उसके mobile में आ गया वो. So for startups, it's very important to understand there are so many free avenues, platforms where you can be present, and just like that you could be noticed. And the thing that things become viral nowadays can be used to your favor. Of course, there are algorithms and stuff on Meta and Instagram. They would not want you to gain consumers without paying. But at the same time, there are ways to make things viral, right? We know that if the thing is relatable, catchy, how the content creators are earning so much money because they are somehow striking some chord in some consumer's mind or some audience's mind. So if you figure out what is it that your brand wants to talk and just can ring that bell and just put that hammer right at that place, the bullseye, you will just do well. So for startup brands, I feel because there's so much clutter now, to break it, you have to figure out what is good for you, what works for you, and keep doing that right. It's what is the deal breaker. For Suta also, we spend even if we do performance marketing, but a lot of our consumers come because of our socials. So our Instagram follows almost more than 500,000 people there, just on Instagram, and Facebook again 200,000. So we show our colleagues, our employees fooling around, jumping, dancing, railway stations, places, stuff like that, and it works. Consumers love. So even one of our design heads went to Banaras, and Banaras mein she was stopped every gully mein and was saying, oh, you're from Suta, you're from Suta. Because we just put that video and people just loved it because it's very relatable. That worked for us. Not saying it will work for you. Anything can work for you. If you're doing, let's say, a jewelry brand and you constantly show the jewelry in a very aesthetic way with your hand, even that can do magic to you. Doesn't mean that you have to show your face or do things that everybody else is doing. Some brands can just post things with a very striking message written on a box, in a black and white box, and it might just work very well for them. So figuring out what will do well, especially for startups, it's very important that you just crack that deal for you. But don't get scared with experimenting. Even you should keep tracking the numbers and figure out when the engagement is dipping, and figuring out a different way to again go and reach your customer is very important. Suta is known as a chaotic brand. We do a lot of chaotic things. Like there's no one kind of direction we choose, and we do a lot of things, and that's how we are. So you can have a particular aesthetics for your page and keep doing that, and maybe customers will like it, and just keep figuring it out. And I agree that it's a very competitive market. You type Suta and there'll be like 100 competition brands which just pop up, and Suta which is not visible some days. It's that crazy, but you have to just keep doing what works for you. Oh, one more thing. Podcast worked for us. Like me and my sister spoke about our stories, just random childhood stories. Podcast did brilliant. We have such great viewership. Viewership. Yeah. So it just worked so well for us. We did 2 seasons. We want to do a 3rd season. No time now. But then I feel that could also be such a great marketing channel for a brand. So since there are so many platforms, it is chaotic, but it's a good thing that India is massive, right? And not just talking about India. People are ready to consume things. So in form of data, video, audio, what will work, you never know. So just keep trying different things. Something might click and it might just be the thing for you guys.
For budding entrepreneurs, for enthusiasts, and like there is a perception which I have seen that 9 to 5 nahi karna hai. We just have to do something of our own. So what is your take on this thought process? Because I personally feel this is not the right approach. And it's not that 9 to 5 is bad and only business or getting something of your own is the best way. Sometimes you have to take wise choices depending on the budgets that you have, depending on the situation that you are into. So I would want you to answer it from this aspect, whether sometimes 9 to 5 will be a better choice or not, and what is your take or what is your tip for all of us who are here in this guys right now. Thank you.
I'll add one more point to that. Not only 9 to 5, of course entrepreneurship is super cool nowadays, but there's one more aspect to that. A lot of entrepreneurs also go through that, and they will go through that, is that they feel that if they're not funded, or if they don't have a VC check, or if they don't have an angel check, that means the idea is bad. Yeah. Right? So the fun fact is most ideas don't get funded. Right? It's actually the other way around, guys. Right? Most ideas can be bootstrapped. Of course, right? So if your idea is bootstrapped and it scales, then that's awesome, right? Because equity is the most, people don't realize this, but it's the most expensive kind of fund that you could raise. Debt would be far better, right? So we have raised debt, and we're doing pretty well that way. So understand that, and also don't do entrepreneurship because it is a fad, because of this thing. Go after a real problem, that's something that really calls you and you feel really strong about it, because where it will help you is on days like this, like how he said, right? On days where you will want to quit or you feel like quitting, and when your mission is very aligned to what you want to do, that is the day this will help, right? Saying that okay, abhi ye zid hai, like how she said, ye zid hai, ye to karna hi hai humko, right? No matter what. Now, whatever the problem is, and myself and my wife, we have gone through that multiple times, right? Sometimes you might not have enough money to pay your vendors or your employees, and that will for sure come to you guys. And those are the days will be like really dark days. Why the hell am I doing that? I was good at some company, and which might be really good for you. ऐसे नहीं है कि आपको you have to do a startup, right? If that problem really calls you, go after it. Right? Sometimes you could do it along with your this thing. A lot of again, this is a lot of VCs say this, right? If you're not all in, then you're not in, and all that nonsense. Don't go with that this thing, because what will happen is unless until you have a backup, right? And if you have a family to support as well, then that all in will really destroy you, right? And there is no return from there. फिर उसके बाद कितना भी मोटिवेशनल रील्स देख लो, कुछ नहीं होगा, right? So don't go after that. Be very practical, be very honest with yourself, and build some kind of nest, and then get into entrepreneurship, right? Because it is going to be really dark days. Some days you will not make money, and that nest that you are saving for will help you, right? Typically, it should be 6 to 12 months of your monthly savings. If you don't have that, don't even think of getting it. Of course, if you are just 21, 22, and you don't have any worries in your life, then yeah, it's far easier to experiment. But if you're married, having kids and all of those things, then it complicates to a very different level, right?
For as long as possible, keep your startup experimentation going on along with a job, right? I worked with Amazon for almost 1 year till we started hitting about 5 lakh of monthly revenue or something like that. When we know कि हाँ थोड़ा बहुत तो पैसा है, right? And then I quit job, and I was able to do that because also I was a bachelor, right? Because once you're married, right, it becomes very very difficult. Now motivation could be anything. Motivation could be most stupid form of motivation, right? When I started up 2014 में, like I mentioned, right, मेरा motivation ये था कि यार बिजनेस करना है, धंधा करना है, स्टार्टअप वगैरह तो उस समय ज़्यादा लिंगो यूज़ होता भी नहीं था, फंडिंग वगैरह कुछ था नहीं, और कुछ भी 3 साल में 100 करोड़ का रेवेन्यू बनाई है, 3 साल में 1 करोड़ जैसे तैसे पहुँचा था, और कोई एग्जाम्पल नहीं था. क्या एग्जाम्पल था? एक मूवी आई थी शायद रॉकेट सिंह या बदमाश कंपनी, ये एग्जाम्पल्स थे हमारे सामने. टीवीएफ पिक्चर्स भी 1 साल बाद आया था हमारे, राइट? तो वर्स्ट काइंड ऑफ मोटिवेशन, बट वी स्टार्टेड अप, डिड आवर जॉब फॉर 1 year. That took care of our expenses, and then 1 साल में चल पड़ा startup and you keep at it. तो कुछ भी worst kind of motivation is also good if you want to start up, and for the longest time possible bootstrap along with keeping your job, and you will realize कि हाँ यार अब तो ये चल पड़ा, अब ये छोड़ देते हैं, इसी को full time करते हैं. So that's my.
I think prioritizing your health is something that I would just request all of you to think of. Not just physical health, mental health, something, it is something so important, because I think startup journey, just being an entrepreneur, it can get lonely, it can get very, very challenging, extremely challenging. And I'm not saying it doesn't happen in corporate. Corporate is a still structured challenge. This can go literally, you'll just feel so much darkness that you don't know any way to come out of it. It can go to that level, but I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm not saying whether to choose corporate or not. Always remember to prioritize your health. It is so important. We take it for granted, and when we realize that, oh, this is the most important thing, it's too late. So I feel that's something that we must remember wherever you are. You want to start, you don't want to start. Even if you're starting and then you're going through a big, major challenge or a major crisis that's happening, remember to take out that time, pause, and breathe. And that we always forget wherever we are. So I think that is one. And hence, when I spoke about having a support in the family, like creating a support system in the family, that's what I meant. Because if you do not have backups, you do not take breaks, or you think you're a superwoman or a superman, and you'll do everything and all, it's not possible. And we literally put that pressure on ourselves. There is nobody chasing you to do that 100 crore or 1000 crore. It is all in your mind. I have to do that, I have to do. Who is looking at it? Nobody. Don't take yourself so seriously. Fool around. You can do mistakes. You can look stupid. It's okay. So just remember that. I think that will help you also to evaluate your business or evaluate your position wherever you are in that light, that you will always remember that, okay, I am stupid, I can be stupid, I can be wrong, and it's okay. Just remembering that will help you take that decision and not get into that complex situation where you're thinking, I have to do this. Kisi ne nahi bola, there's no gun pointing, there's no gun at you. You just have to take it at your own stride. Whatever is possible at that moment, what you think is possible for you, do that. So yeah, that's my.
And sharing so wonderful insights. If you guys have really learned something, give a big round of applause. Come on. If you feel I could do justice to my role of being a moderator, जितना अच्छा किया है उतना जोर से आवाज तालियों से आएगा. And these three being from very diverse sectors. One from the food industry, the other one into D2C, the third one into sarees, and like the different aspect. I would like to especially mention Akhilesh for covering the whole event. He's an associate, so.
Suta is a beautiful brand name, and Suta is known as a place which is, as a workplace, it's one of the best places to work at, and these are all stories, and in what format you're telling it, and where, how you are putting it in customers' mind is also something that you have to think about it. Sometimes it naturally happens very well then, but if it doesn't happen naturally, you have to think about it and put it like in forms of write-ups, blog, somewhere you have to do it yourself. And do not underestimate the power of PR. It is brilliant, it's very, very important, and not via PR agency I'm saying, but whenever, let's say, how it happened for us automatically is just whenever a journalist would call us and say, oh, tomorrow, like deadline is like 11 o'clock and it's 10 o'clock at night, I'm saying, PM. Just give us the article. If I were snobbish and I would say, oh, I'm the founder, who the hell does she think I am, and I'm not give it. It's gone. Tomorrow she'll never reach out to me, right? just making sure you give it out and help journalists say your things. Sending press releases, telling them that okay, this is a collection coming up, this is what it is, this is the story, thought process, everything. Might get picked, might not get picked. Just remembering them also helps. So different ways of doing it, but I feel brand is all about stories. Keep talking about it, thinking about it, it'll help.
Blingg is in early stage of consumer business, long time away from being a brand. But Kapshal, which we did for about 7 years, did become a brand amongst startups, amongst the agencies as well. And the earliest hack was that your customers or your clients, in our case, became our brand custodian, right? We are working with Swiggy. Swiggy would tell someone they know at other startups, and then they will approach us, and that's how kind of we became viral between 2015 2016. And then startup founders and CEOs started approaching us. So one is of course your customers or your clients are your number one brand custodians in your early stage, first 3 to 5 years. Second is PR, right? Again, cannot emphasize enough that PR is underrated. Whatever good work you are doing, it's your responsibility to tell the world, right? Whether it's on LinkedIn, whether it's on newspaper, Bytes, online, Reddit, wherever you can. It's your responsibility, and one of those articles will become viral, where you will have thousands and thousands of impressions, and then other people will start following up with you, following your story, and that's how eventually all these things, one by one, eventually make you become a recognizable brand. So those are 2-3 things that we did. Brand, customers as brand custodians, and lot of PR and putting our stories out.
I think what we did right was very similar to the other thing. Our brand got picked up very much because of the story that we constantly keep telling our customers, right? Even with our emailers, with this thing, a founder email goes saying that why we started, what we did, and all those stories, right? In the initial journey, we did a lot of that. So a lot of journalists picked that up, and the articles were very on its own, right? We didn't pay for those. But over a period of time, then what we started doing is, we said that, okay, if you honestly speak to our customers about whatever our problem is or whatever our journey has been, I think that really resonates with the audience. So that's what we started doing, right? So very small things, right? If you're going to increase the price, then we'll tell them honestly, this is the price. The rise has happened because the ingredients have gone up and this thing. And then that got picked up by one of our customers, and they did a LinkedIn post for us, which did really good, right? Now, apart from that, we had big influencers who had like 500K, 1 million followers do very free this thing. They compared us with Maggie, right? And say that Maggie is not great for you, buy naturally yours, right? So so because we were constantly telling our story, we were constantly saying that this is better for you, try this. Being out there always helps. Now, other small things which also work is like LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a great place. Specifically, if you're a B2B brand, it works. But even in the B2C space that I have been, I think it works beautifully, because what it does is it puts you right in front in terms of your customer base. Let's say there are category managers across, let's say Swiggy or let's say Zepto and all of those. Those are the guys who are reading it, right? So when they see that, okay, there is this product in this category, they start reaching out to you. So it becomes far easier for you to convince them rather than you going with them. So that is also a form of PR. Even your WhatsApp status is a form of PR. I use that very effectively, right? Let's say a newly launched product. Then a retailer will say, sir, this you have not even told me. Please place an order, right? So it works very effectively, and you guys should use that constantly. And every small win that you have, it might be a very small win for you, but share that, right? Like whenever we were Amazon bestseller, we shared that. Even though the quantity was less, even if you are Amazon choice of a product, we used to share that. If our product comes in top 100, any small wins, share that on socials, share that on your LinkedIn. That works beautifully, because if you don't tell your story, nobody's going to say it, right? So do that.